Which quarterback to you is playing the best right now in the NFL?
If I had to pick one right now, I think I'm going to say Daniel Jones.
It's about Daniel Jones doing what he's doing for the Indianapolis Colts. And what he's doing for the Indianapolis Colts, something we've never seen from the Colts at the quarterback position before.
Over the past few years in the NFL, there have been plenty of quarterbacks who have made a comeback into relevance, and it's been absolutely amazing to watch. From Geno Smith breaking out as a Seahawk in his age 32 season in 2022.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though. That's the problem. I ain't right back. Let's go.
To Baker Mayfield being cast away by the Carolina Panthers, having that incredible debut with the Los Angeles Rams, then betting on himself with a proven contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now cementing himself as their quarterback of the future since 2023. Last year, the individual that was able to have that sort of success was Sam Darnold, truly fulfilling his potential as one of the best quarterbacks in all of football, living up to that top 3 billing when he was selected number 3 overall by the New York Jets in 2018. Darnold balled out with the Minnesota Vikings and earned himself a bag, and we've seen this trend continue for 3 years straight. This year has marked a 4th consecutive year with the miraculous resurgence of Daniel Jones. So far this season, there arguably has not been a better quarterback in all of football than Daniel Jones, and as insane as that is to say, the proof is in the pudding. This is no fluke. So before we break down Daniel Jones' first 3 games, this video is sponsored. How on earth do you get these spam phone calls to your phone number? I've never given out my number to any of these people. Why is my inbox flooded with spam? Well, there are individuals called data brokers whose entire business is based off of selling your data. They do it without your consent, and they make billions of dollars by selling to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And while they're legally required to remove your info if you ask, they make it very difficult to do so on purpose. That's why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family and friends. Aura is an all-in-one digital security. You may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving the back door open. With Aura, you get alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, you get real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 monitoring to help keep your identity secure, a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. They have US-based support available around the clock if anything happens. And if anything does happen, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. They have US fraud experts available to help 24/7. And right now you could go to aura.com/microphone or just click on the link in the description down below to get a free 14-day trial to see if any of your info has been exposed. I think it's worth doing it just to make sure none of your information has been exposed, because you have nothing to lose and there's a free 14-day trial if you click on my link in the description down below. And thank you, Aura, for sponsoring today's video. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Daniel Jones is putting on an absolute show in Indianapolis this season, and how he even got here in the first place is insane. Last year, Daniel Jones lost his job to a guy who's a 3rd stringer in New England right now. He got cut after requesting his release from the New York Giants, signed with the Minnesota Vikings just to not play a single snap for the rest of the season, and went into the 2025 season in the worst spot he'd ever been in as a professional football player. Jones was coming off of a 4-year, $120 million extension by the New York Giants after leading them to the playoffs in 2022. Remember, Brian Daboll was supposed to save Daniel Jones. He was supposed to work the same voodoo magic that he worked on Josh Allen when he was the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. And after 1 year of looking promising, the New York Giants decided to extend him. But after a year of crashing down back to earth, the New York Giants didn't even let him complete his contract due to his play on the field. So Jones was only in the market for a 1-year deal to be a backup somewhere. Sounds fairly familiar, right? But the way Daniel Jones handled this situation was brilliant. He sat back, truly evaluated all of his options, and chose the best situation for him to potentially win the starting QB position. I don't mean to throw shade at Anthony Richardson, but when your quarterback is taking himself out of games because he's too gassed to play.
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there, what I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play, so just told Sam I just needed a break right there.
I would say this is the perfect situation to win a starting QB job. So when he signed a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts, it originally seemed like backing up Anthony Richardson was the plan for Jones until head coach Shane Steichen announced that there would be a quarterback competition to decide who would become the week 1 starter in September. And now everyone's calling him Indiana Jones because he would eventually beat out the number 4 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft to win the starting job. And since then, arguably no quarterback in football has played better than number 17 has. Not Josh Allen, not Patrick Mahomes, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but not even Dak Prescott.
There's a list of quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era with 3 or more passing touchdowns and 3 or more rushing touchdowns and no giveaways in the first 3 games of the season. It's Daniel Jones!
Oh, come on.
That's how he's starting it off in Indianapolis.
In 3 games so far this season, Daniel Jones has thrown for 816 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on a 71.6% completion percentage, along with rushing for 55 yards and adding 3 more touchdowns on the ground. Funny enough, his 6 total touchdowns are more than the New York Giants have even scored as a team through 3 weeks. He also hasn't turned the ball over once and has only forced Indianapolis's punter to punt 1 time in 3 games, which hasn't happened to start an NFL season since 1940. Oh, and Indianapolis is also averaging 34.3 points per game throughout 3 weeks under Daniel Jones, which is good for 3rd in the league, and he has a perfect 3-0 undefeated record, which includes a win over the top defense from 2024 in the Denver Broncos. Jones is dominating, and he's quite literally the most efficient quarterback in all of football. I mean, just take a look at this graphic. Near the top of the chart, you see Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, and then above them all, there sits Daniel Jones. He has the most expected points added per play in all of football. And if you take a look at the film, this completely checks out. And this film will show you that this is clearly no fluke. I'm going to show you a couple of plays from this season so far, just to show you the improvement that he's had, not just from a statistical perspective, but from an eye test perspective as well. The first play I want to show you is one from their week 2 matchup against the Denver Broncos that really shows off not only his improved pocket awareness and IQ, but his arm as well. This play starts at the Denver 35-yard line, with Jones facing a 2nd and 9 situation in a 2-minute warning to end the half, looking to put up some points to swing the momentum their way after Denver put up 21 first half points. The setup for this play pre-snap is fairly simple. Indianapolis is in a simple shotgun formation with 11 personnel, and Denver is showing cover 2 with 4 rushers on the line. However, the complexity that football brings every single week happens after the ball is snapped. Instead of Denver's 2 inside linebackers playing zone in the middle of the field, they both blitz, bringing Denver's free safety Talanoa Hufanga down to a middle hook zone to guard the middle of the field by himself, with the free safety Brandon Jones sticking back to play a deep third, with the cornerbacks all playing man coverage, making this more of a cover 1 blitz than the cover 2 that they were showing pre-snap. 1 year ago, Daniel Jones would have panicked seeing extra rushers, but he plays this absolutely perfectly. Jones sees the extra rushers coming, and instead of losing his pocket, he puts his trust into his running back Jonathan Taylor to pick up the unaccounted rusher and moves his eyes to the right side of the field, where there should be a one-on-one matchup with a ton of space considering that Brandon Jones moved over towards the middle of the field, and he knew that he had an established deep threat in Alec Pierce running a streak with one-on-one coverage, so that immediately became his first read. Taylor picked up his block well, which gave Daniel Jones an extra bit of time, but he still knew that 6 pass rushers was a lot to hold for a long time, so he launches the ball at the optimal time, finding Alec Pierce deep with a nearly perfect moonshot to set them just outside of the red zone with over a minute and a half left to go. Jones's instant development and play recognition on this play is unbelievably impressive, but the throw cannot be overlooked. I don't think he makes that throw as a New York Giant. The first play was one that showed off his overall development as a quarterback, but this play is just pure talent, and the stuff that we saw at Duke in 2018 that got Daniel Jones drafted so high to begin with. On 3rd down and short at the Tennessee 42-yard line, this is 4-down territory, and both teams know it. So pre-snap, Tennessee loads the box, and Indianapolis runs a tight formation, hinting at the fact that they're running the ball. Instead, however, Indianapolis runs a very effective play action with the offensive line all shifting to the right like they're run blocking, setting up a boot on the other side of the field to try to pick up a first. However, Tennessee's secondary plays this flawlessly, immediately, covering everybody on the wide side of the field, leaving Daniel Jones in the backfield with no pocket to sit behind, considering the boot they just ran. On top of that, one Tennessee defender wasn't fooled by this concept at all, and that man is Arden Key, number 49. Key breaks off of the Colts left tackle Bernard Raymond and begins to hunt down Jones before the quarterback even has a chance to look for something else. However, all Jones needed was one quick look to the other side of the field before he decided to take a major risk. Daniel Jones launches a ball off of his back foot because he was anticipating a hit from Arden Key across his body to find Josh Downs for a huge gain. The throw wasn't perfect, but how could it be? It's like the number one thing that you teach every single quarterback. You never throw across your body to the other side of the field. But it was good enough, and most importantly, strong enough to get to Josh Downs before the Titans safety Amani Hooker could get to him and make a play on the ball. Just unbelievably impressive stuff from Daniel Jones here. The last play I'm going to be showing you in this video is one that perfectly shows the area in which Daniel Jones has improved the most this season, at least compared to his tenure in New York. On 3rd and long, Daniel Jones needed to make a play to avoid punting, but most importantly, to put his team into field goal range, considering they were just out. Even if the Colts didn't get a first down on this play, they got to about the 40-yard line, which would allow them to trust their kicker Spencer Schrader to make a deep kick. So I can only assume that was the main goal here. Just like the last play, Tennessee loaded the box on this play, showing blitz and showing that they did not want to let them into field goal range. When Daniel Jones ultimately calls for the snap, only one of those box defenders for Tennessee steps back and plays coverage, which they do not do. Multiple Titans defenders bull rush through the Colts offensive line and pressure Jones almost immediately. Now this is where the improvement comes in. As a Giant, almost any time this would happen, Jones would fold, take the sack, and cost his team the possession. Now, and I don't know if it's the change in uniform or what, Jones makes a guy miss, turns around, and finds a running lane back up the middle for 20 yards. Not only getting the job done, but doing even more. And that's why he's been so successful this season. He's not just doing the job, but he's doing it well, and he's doing it more efficiently than he ever has. I genuinely cannot even begin to express how big of a difference Daniel Jones's pocket awareness and play under pressure have been this season. It's completely changed the game and completely turned the Colts into an absolute juggernaut. I may not be able to put it into words, but I can absolutely put it into numbers. In 2023, Daniel Jones had a pressure to sack percentage of 31.6, meaning that 31.6% of defensive pressures resulted in Jones getting sacked, which was good for 40th out of 41 qualified quarterbacks. In 2024, Jones did slightly improve there, but his volume was much lower. He had a pressure to sack percentage of 20, which was good for 22nd out of 43 qualified quarterbacks. This year, Jones has a pressure to sack percentage of 5.9, which is the single best among qualified quarterbacks. That is absolutely ridiculous. Not only is he beating pressure at a significantly better rate, but he's also throwing the ball down the field at a much higher and efficient rate as well. Oh, and he's also 3rd in the league in turnover-worthy plays through 3 weeks. He's literally doing everything better. If Daniel Jones can keep this up, not only is he in line for a massive payday next year, but he's also in line to lead his team on a potential Super Bowl run. This Colts team is special. I've seen a lot of people say that they're a fluke, and that couldn't be further from the truth. The Colts are legit. Daniel Jones is legit. And if he ends up winning MVP come January, don't be surprised, because at this point, 3 weeks into the season, he certainly looks the part. Now, what about Daniel Jones's old team? Well, they just gave up on his replacement, Russell Wilson, just 3 weeks into the season. We have a completely separate video breaking that down and whether or not Brian Daboll is truly the problem here or not. I'm gonna leave a link to that in the end screen. I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.